Welcome to Inside Magazine. Here I'm David Matlin. Well, the INS Eilat has 20 years of service in the Israeli Navy. Well, at 85 meters long and over 1,200 tons of steel, it's a Corvette-class warship specially designed for defensive missions. With its stealth capabilities, it serves as a centerpiece for the fortress set up by the Israeli Defense Force, ready for any type of naval combat. Our correspondents boarded the INS Eilat at the major naval port of Haifa and gave us a unique view from inside one of Israel's most secret weapons, assigned to the strategic Mediterranean Sea. Well, here's the report by Charles Bybelezer and Maxime Perez.
After tracking it for days, Israel's Navy intercepts the Claw Sea in a spectacular raid in the Red Sea along the coast of Somalia. Inside the Iran-chartered ship, Israeli commandos find rockets, mortar shells, and thousands of rounds of ammunition, all intended for Palestinian factions in Gaza. The INS Eilat, the flagship of Israel's Third Fleet, took part in the operation.
Israel's third flotilla is the largest one in the IDF. It is also the one which leads the most operations at sea. That's all I'm allowed to tell about us.
The INS Eilat has been part of the Israeli Navy for 20 years. At 85 meters long, it is a Sa'ar 5 class corvette, historically specializing in defensive missions. But the IDF has turned this ship into an impenetrable fortress, adept at any kind of naval combat. Comprising stealth technology, it is undetectable by radar. We got a first-hand look at the INS Eilat as it embarked from Haifa on a 3-day mission to the Mediterranean Sea, an area of increasing strategic importance. What you are about to see is exclusive footage of one of Israel's best-kept secret weapons. As soon as the ship sets sail, the crew members get to work, checking every weapon system on board. In the Mediterranean, an Israeli warship is a major target and must be prepared for all potentialities. We are immediately introduced to Lieutenant Oran. At only 21 years of age, she is in charge of the ship's weaponry.
Hey you, do you have earplugs and a life jacket?
Out of the blue, the alarm goes off. His men have but moments to take their positions and arm their machine guns. The goal? To neutralize all short-range threats. For example, a small incoming boat packed with explosives. In the event of an attack on the ship, Oran serves as an intermediary with the command and control center. He is the one who transmits and carries out the order from above to open fire.
They start shooting to the other side, and after that, it's our turn.
Come on, down to the hold.
Hurry, give me a mask.
One drill after another takes place. In this one, a fire has broken out in one of the cabins, a sailor's worst nightmare. Given the massive amount of ammunition on board, the ship is a powder keg.
I'll try to get to the door.
Come on, faster, firemen.
The ship's hallways are narrow and the firefighters' gear is heavy. While they nevertheless progress quickly, the tremendous noise disrupts their communication.
Fire under control. Fire under control.
While this is merely practice, the training exercises mimic reality in order to best prepare the men.
If a fire breaks out on the ship, we have a well-prepared team, ready to take action. That's what they were trained for. If needed, our men can wear their bunker gear and fight the flames to avoid damages on the ship.
We are taken to the ship's engineering control station. Soldiers take shifts watching over the fuel gauge, heat levels, and the ship's supply of some 10,000 liters of water, which must last the entire journey. From here, they also control the engine room. Inside, the noise is unbearable. Led by Captain Hajjaj, the soldiers communicate by sign language.
Since the conditions inside are so harsh, with the noise and the heat, and it's even worse during the summer, the soldiers don't stay here more than 3 hours. Then they get 6 hours to rest or to eat.
About 100 young sailors and officers man the INS Eilat, sent out to sea for weeks at a time, far away from dry land and their families.
The days is more like in the night, and the night like the days. We are not sleeping a lot. We are working always around the clock. Everyone are working very close to other people. They have no privacy.
In this claustrophobic environment, the soldiers are well taken care of. Mealtimes allow them to regain their strength, to engage with friends, and talk about life aboard the ship.
Guys here give their best. Good food, guaranteed good atmosphere on the ship. It does good to the soldiers. It keeps them calm.
The INS Eilat is equipped with a helipad at the rear. During our journey, a French-made Panther helicopter flies multiple observation missions, greatly expanding the ship's operational range by informing the crew of any long-range threats. Its surveillance activities are absolutely vital.
HQ, do you have any data? Our position is 3.2.0, speed 17 knots. Affirmative.
This is 22-year-old Or. His orange outfit distinguishes him from the other soldiers. A member of the Air Force, he is the primary point of contact between the ship and the incoming helicopter. It is a delicate job, given the waves and harsh winds. With respect to the Panther, Or sets the pace. On his signal, teams run to the helicopter to conduct any number of tasks. After each drill, Or enjoys only a few hours alone, mostly spent studying. He is preparing to take on further responsibilities aboard the ship.
You think you'll have a regular day, but it can all turn out 180 degrees. My job on the helipad, when the helicopter is getting close, is done by 3 people in other naval forces, and they're at least in their 30s. I've finished my officer's training just a year ago, and I'm only 22. Here, they throw you in at the deep end, and you have to prove yourself. That's the way it works here.
His job is never truly done. In the evening, Or is summoned back to the deck. The weather is bad, forcing the chopper to refuel mid-air. A difficult procedure in rough seas. In such a situation, any mistake could be lethal for the pilots or crew. After 10 minutes, seemingly an eternity of failed attempts to attach the hose to the fuel tank, the helicopter is once again ready to resume its mission. And Or can finally go back to his room.
That's my suite. This is where I sleep during the journey. I mean, I took it over because somebody took mine.
But the crew of the INS Eilat gets little rest. Night is sometimes day, with soldiers working long shifts. For those who can sleep during normal hours, wake up as early. There is little respite.
Okay, so we departed from here, from Haifa, and we follow the path which leads to Crete. By now we have reached the point about 70 miles away, and we are sailing north, via Suda Bay.
We are introduced to the commander of the ship, Lieutenant Colonel Ziv. He is battle-tested, having taken part in dozens of operations.
The sea is in our direction, it's calm for the moment. But be vigilant, it can change. Our presence at sea has increased, with more means and at a further distance from our base. The defense task does not take place only along our coast, but also around these rigs.
Israel's strategic reality has changed since the country discovered offshore natural gas deposits in its territorial waters. This vast underwater treasure, occupying some 44,000 square kilometers, must be defended at all costs. It is an area twice the size of Israel itself.
Gas is an important resource, and its location is known. We've heard Nasrallah's statements, threatening to aim at the strategic zone. So there is a threat, and we must respond to it.
ومن يمس المنشآت المستقبلية للنفط والغاز في المياه الإقليمية اللبنانية ستمس منشآته وهو يعلم أن لبنان قادر على ذلك.
Israel has chosen to cooperate with other countries in order to neutralize any potential threats to its resources in the Mediterranean. Of course, close cooperation exists with the United States, but Greece has emerged as a new regional partner in the wake of the breakdown of Israel-Turkey relations. Today, the Allies hold a tripartite exercise off the coast of Crete, the fourth since 2011. These large-scale maneuvers mark the beginning of Noble Dina.
Hotel Sierra Lima, this is Sierra 5 Hotel. Calling you for communication check, please come in.
How many of you are there?
At the bow of the ship, Oran is readying the weaponry as two Greek bombers appear in the sky, simulating an attack.
We're making sure no ammunition is left here. We are about to launch our maneuvers and fighter aircraft are going to fly over our ship. We don't want anything to happen by mistake, to accidentally open fire towards the Greek shore or towards our own forces.
In the navigation room, Lieutenant Colonel Ziv is heading the operations.
Sierra 5 Hotel, this is Hotel Sierra Lima, break. In next approach, the aircraft will pass over platforms.
The first stage of the drill takes place without a hitch, but the rest of the exercise will remain a mystery. We are not permitted to film the top-secret maneuvers.
The first day of the drill is important. We've been planning these maneuvers for over a year, through joint meetings. It is a great pride to lead our Navy in a country like Greece. It is a great personal pride to take part in these maneuvers.
At the end of the afternoon, the INS Eilat reaches Crete's military port. The ship is now more than 1,000 kilometers away from Haifa, where the mission began. The other vessels of the IDF's Third Fleet follow one after another. Together, they are Israel's first line of defense in the strategically crucial Mediterranean.
Well, now we're joined in the studio by Charles Bybelezer. Charles, thanks for joining us today.
Pleasure. Thank you for having me.
So tell us more now, after seeing this piece, about what kind of operations the ship actually takes part in.
Well, just to give you a little bit of background on what the ship is, what its capabilities are. This is a ship, it's advanced, it's a technological marvel. It's equipped with basically 4 systems. There are surface-to-surface Harpoon missiles. There's the Barak 8 anti-missile defense system. There are also anti-submarine torpedoes, and there are automatic gunners throughout the ship. So being the most advanced ship in the IDF, it takes part in the most advanced and technologically difficult operations. So just to give you an example, the INS's sister ships, the Lachav and Khanit, have in the past taken part in various operations, one being the recent seizure of the Class C ship, which was carrying an illicit Iranian arms cargo destined for the Hamas-ruled Gaza Strip. Even more notable, both of them also took part on the raid of the Mavi Marmara in 2010. Moving forward, these types of ships are going to be tasked with really protecting offshore natural gas reserves, which Israel has discovered over the past few years.
Very sensitive strategic
Very
resource,
sensitive, strategic. It's actually added a real new dimension to Israel's defense doctrine.
Well, let me ask you briefly about your time on an Israeli naval ship. What did you experience there?
It was an amazing experience just to interact with the crew. The thing that stood out the most is really one word. It'd be youth. Everyone on the ship, people know that Israel's army, there's conscription. So everyone who goes into the army is between 18 to 21 years old. What they don't understand is how much responsibility these essentially children have. Young adults, let's say. So, for example, the people responsible for all the weaponry on the ship, responsible for the Combat Information Center, the head aviation specialist, are all between the ages of 21 and 24, and they are seriously operating this unbelievable military
leadership. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Charles, again, thank you for bringing us the story today.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
And thank you for joining us here at Inside Magazine. We'll see you next week at the same time.